Hello, everyone. With Dell Technologies World, or DTW, as those in the know like to call it, just around the corner, we thought it would be time to have a discussion about what we expect to see and hear at this year's events. I have Scott Sinclair and I have Mike Leone. Scott, I'm going to come to you first. If you like, from the most traditional side of what was EMC, now obviously part of Dell, the storage and perhaps the server side of things, could you start by telling us what you're expecting, hoping, watching for at the event?
Sure thing, Mark. I think one of the things that I'm really looking for is we've seen, again, innovation from the greater Dell Technologies across multiple avenues. And essentially the company has been it seems like a very successful conglomerate of a number of different segments. And as Michael always reminds me every time I open up my Wall Street Journal in the morning with their advertisement, they've had success in that manner. But what I'm really looking for is, with all these technologies, where are the opportunities for Dell Technology to cross-pollinate? We've seen a little bit of this with HCI, now with new questions around and opportunities around hybrid cloud. Is that an area where possibly Dell Technologies could be innovating, could be cross-pollinating across their segments to deliver a solution? It's how is Dell able to create this 1 + 1 = 3 combination across all their technology portfolios?
Yeah, just to kind of reemphasize what Scott was saying, I really think this hybrid cloud message is going to be the focus point of this event, right? You've heard stories around Dell and VMware. We know how they're interconnected, but I'm expecting there to be a bigger message, right? I think that we'll be able to take things like VMware vSAN running on Dell servers. We'll bring in Edge. We'll bring in next generation workloads and bring all of it together to tell a more comprehensive story, right? An end-to-end story for distributed organizations. And it's not just hybrid cloud, right? There's a multi-cloud angle here. So I'm expecting a more collaborative, a more simplified message between these organizations. So Dell Technologies as a whole can come at everyone with a hybrid cloud story. It's not just Dell, it's not just VMware, and not that it has been in the past. But I think there's going to be a better comprehensive story. I think anchoring the story is really going to be VMware Cloud Foundation and how they're going to bring that message up a bit, how they're going to connect it to VxRail. There's been a recent announcement around those two connections, which is fantastic. I think there's going to be a lot more around that.
On that question, and perhaps this is for both of you, on that question of cross-pollination, joining more things together, which you've both touched on in one way or another, at what point does that reflect IT that is getting easier and more, clustered in the way that you do it? Or does that say that eventually we don't need something as big as DTW because no one in the audience is going to understand everything? Which way does that go?
I actually think it has something to do with not is IT getting simpler, but IT is getting complicated. The scale that the typical IT organization has to deal with is just phenomenal. And I think what we've realized, and I think we've realized this in the analyst community, vendors have realized this, definitely people that are on boots on the ground and in IT organizations have realized this. Organizations don't have the resources and the time anymore to finely tune every single element of the data center. And companies like Dell EMC and Dell Technologies, the greater Dell Technologies, that have innovations in lots of different areas, there's some simplification that can happen by pulling everything together. HCI is a perfect example of this for the data center, but HCI, in my opinion, is a first step to something larger. And to me, I think that's really where a large opportunity for Dell Technologies lies.
I think we're driving the need for more intelligence behind all of these systems, behind all of these platforms, behind the companies, right? We want more intelligence when it comes to data management, data orchestration. So that's kind of one of the other things I'm really looking forward to hearing, right? It's a matter of how are you making this easier? IT is more complex than it's been 2 years ago. We say that every year, and we have the research to back that up. But in my mind, it's how are you incorporating kind of next generation technology, AI, ML, how are you incorporating that into existing products to help simplify, right? It's not about these advanced use cases. It's just about making IT folks' lives easier to be able to embrace hybrid, to be able to embrace portability and agility. And HCI really serves as a foundation to get there. So does Converged, especially in larger data centers that have very high performant application requirements that they must meet. So I think that there's a great story, and Dell Technologies has been able to tell that. But I think that the angle here is really intelligent hybrid cloud. That's really what I'm looking for here.
All right. Well, thank you both. That's all the time we have. I'm also always fascinated by the feel of an event. You know, is there a confidence as well as is there a cohesive message? So I'll be looking out for that as well. I'll see both of you there and hopefully many of you watching together with the rest of our ESG colleagues. Thanks for watching.